Welcome back to the Cave of Wonders, Dreamwalkers. I am your Sith Lord Callous for Lord Callous TV, and this is another Callous recap and review. Now, the Bad Batch find themselves on Ryloth in episode 11 entitled Devil's Deal. This episode is light on Omega and heavy on the member berries, so let's talk about it. Now, if there's one thing that can't be taken away from this first season of The Bad Batch, it's the amount of connections they have made to the other Star Wars shows, from The Mandalorian most recently to The Rebels and, of course, The Clone Wars. Devil's Deal was no different as the story takes us to Ryloth, home of the Twi'leks, and instead of putting us through another filler mission as the season builds to the finale, this episode is largely void of the Clone Force 99 and focuses more on the Empire's transition to power through manipulation. Now, Devil's Deal puts Clone Wars veteran Cham Syndulla and his wife Eleni front and center as Ryloth enters an alliance with the Empire, allowing them to operate a Dunium mining facility on the planet's surface. Admiral Rampart leads the negotiations for the Empire, with the self-serving Senator Orn Free Ta of Ryloth. He calls for all citizens to step down from their military posts and allow the Empire to protect them. Now, this displeases the population as Ryloth prefers to be free, but General Cham steps in to calm the masses and reminds them of how the clone troopers aided Ryloth in its most desperate hour. Crosshair returns for this episode and appears to have made a full recovery since the incident on Bracca, though there is some noticeable scarring on the back of his head. He's keeping a close eye on the Syndullas, especially Gobi Glee, who has no love for the newly formed Empire and appears to be forming an underground resistance that includes a couple of famous recruits. There's a young Hera Syndulla and her troublesome astromech Chopper. Now, I enjoyed seeing the young rebels in this episode, and it made perfect sense that they would show up. Hera is not yet the ace pilot we know from the Rebel show, but her spirit is still intact. Thankfully, they changed her voice to fit her age, unlike the first episode with Kanan. But her accent threw me off a bit. I guess it makes sense that she could lose it as she grows older, either by choice or simply her surroundings, but it took some getting used to. Now, Hera and Chopper are caught early on, spying on the Imps for Gobi, but luckily, Clone Captain Hauser is sympathetic to Ryloth and a friend of Cham. He assures the general that he won't report the incident, but that something like this can never happen again. And while her mother, Eleni, appears outwardly displeased by Hera's behavior, we learn that she may have been secretly involved in Gobi's plan. Cham, however, is genuinely upset. He sees himself in his daughter and does not want her to have to go through life as he did, which is the only reason he is currently supporting the Imperial Alliance. But Gobi believes the Imperials have other plans, and Orn Free Ta is concerned about the influence Cham has on the people of Ryloth. Rampart is surprised how accommodating the general has been, so in good faith he takes Cham and Eleni on a tour of the Dunium mine, and he explains that their efforts will help rebuild parts of the galaxy affected by war. The Syndullas have their doubts, recognizing that Rampart's interests appear to be self-serving. Gobi coerces Hera into joining him on a simple supply mission by offering to let her pilot the ship after they take off. And this is when we finally get to see Clone Force 99. For whatever reason, they still seem to be working for Sid after Omega cleared their debt in the previous episode, but the contract was for a delivery of 36 blasters and a case of thermal detonators. Omega and Hera make a connection as she gives the young Twi'lek a tour of the Havoc Marauder, a connection that will no doubt come into play in later episodes. We know that Caleb Dune, or Kanan Jarrus, is connected with the Bad Batch, and now we have a link to Hera, Syndulla, and Chopper by default. But on the way home from that supply run, Crosshair shoots down Gobi's ship, and then contacts Rampart. He's been suspicious in tracking the Twi'lek the entire time. When the Imperial forces arrive with Orn Free Ta, he intends to use this opportunity to implicate his rival, Cham, and accuse him of plotting an uprising. But Rampart is thoughtful and has other plans in mind. Chopper informs Cham and Elaney that Hera has been found guilty of treason without so much as a trial. Cham realizes that his daughter is being set up by the senator, so they hurry to intercept the convoy transporting Hera and the other captives. Hauser hesitates to engage, but a firefight ensues. Cham is able to stop the transport and Rampart surrenders, giving his reinforcements more time to arrive and get into place. Now, Orn-Free Ta accuses Cham of being a traitor, and Cham accuses Ta of selling out his people and Ryloth for years. He's on the verge of destroying the senator when Elaney talks him off the ledge, but now Crosshair is in place, and Rampart gives the signal. He shoots Orn-Free Ta in the head, but does not kill him, just as the Imperial reinforcements arrive. Cham and Elaney are arrested and accused of the attempted assassination of the senator, but Hera and Chopper escape, and that's where this story ends. This episode was rich with world building and connections with other Star Wars storylines, and in my opinion, just like with Tan Wei and Fennec Shan, I don't think that Orn-Free Ta was hit with a kill shot, so the continuity should still be intact. But of course I could be wrong and it wouldn't surprise me. I think we'll see Hera and Chopper meet up with Caleb, and possibly together they'll connect with Omega and the Bad Batch. I think we're looking at the formation of the Phoenix Rebel Cell here, but I could be getting ahead of myself. So you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. Were you excited to see Hera and Chopper, or do we have far too many cameos going on here? Where do you think the next episode will take us? Back with the Bad Batch, or perhaps to find Caleb Dune? And don't forget, if you're new here to the channel, subscribe and hit that like button. Then turn on notifications so you can join the Dreamwalkers on our galactic YouTube journey. Now I'd like to thank my channel members, John Matrix, Rhodes Rants, Biggles Metz, Callisto Arcus, Keaton Haas, Drunk 3PO, Lord Vito, Daryl the Derelict, Rob Heaston, RC from the NYC, and Ord's Board. Thank you all for your support. And always remember that peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion I gain strength, and through strength I gain power. Through power I gain victory, and through victory my chains are broken. The Force shall free me. That is why I do what I love. And I hope you love what I do. This has been a Callous recap and review. Until next time.